Hey witches, this is WitchoftheRealms. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to talk about using dirt in magic and spell casting and different things. In this video, this is a viewer request topic, and I'm just talking from the top of my head and from my experience. I didn't take any notes or anything, so it's probably not going to be that organized, but I'm just going to dive right into this topic. Basically, dirt is an awesome tool. You can use all different kinds of dirt. Obviously, grave dirt is one of the most popular and well-known dirts to use. And you can use the dirt from different graves. When you're talking about grave dirt, you can use the dirt from your own ancestors or deceased relatives' graves. And you know, that mostly I would use for protection purposes or anything that, you know, your family members would help with in life. You know, depending who they were, what their occupation was, what their, you know, what type of person they were, would be the type of things that you would get help from them with as a spirit. And you use their grave dirt as an anchor or as like a portal or a grounding, binding agent to the magic that you're doing with that ancestor. That's how I use it. Like I said, I'm just going to be talking from my own experience in this video. And I would add that into like a gree-gree bag or a charm bag or a spell bottle that I'm doing, or I would sprinkle it inside of a candle or around a candle. I mean, you can use it, incorporate it into your magic however you want, but those are the different ways that I use it. And to me, it's dirt, and it represents the earth element. It represents kind of the earth itself in that aspect of grounding things, the gravity type of energy. To me, it feels like it brings weight and gravity to the work that I'm doing, is the best way that I can explain it. Now you can use grave dirt from other types of graves as well, from other people that are not your relatives. Grave dirt from a soldier's grave is great for works of protection as well, but also for, you know, more baneful work on a target type of thing. Of course, whenever you do this, you want to make sure that you feel an affinity and connection to the graves that you're using, especially if it's not relatives. If you're using grave dirt from a grave from some random soldier, you want to make sure that you feel some sort of a connection to that grave and to that spirit, and ask permission and leave offerings there, all that, to make it, you know, proper. But you can also use the grave dirt from, like, you know, those graves that has a husband and a wife buried together. You can use that type of grave dirt for love workings, for healing relationships. You could use that for fertility. You could use also the dirt from a child's grave for happiness and joy. Probably also fertility as well. This is just kind of to get you thinking about grave dirt in general. However, this topic video is not just about grave dirt, so I'm going to move on from the topic now. Move on with the topic from grave dirt though. Y'all get what I mean? So you can use the dirt from a bank for money workings and prosperity workings and work with your finances. What I do is I actually use the dirt from the bank that I use for my workings, with money and finances and stuff like that. You don't necessarily have to use the dirt from your own personal bank, but to me that makes the most sense. You can use the dirt from, you know, your enemy's bank to do work against their finances and their money and stuff like that. You can use the dirt from a hospital for, or a doctor's office for healing. As well as for causing illness and things like that. You can use the dirt from, I'm trying to think right now. You can use the dirt from, or rather sand from like a beach, for workings with a very strong emotional energy, so like love spells, love workings, healing more so of like depression and emotional illnesses or mental illnesses, once again, or to cause that type of stuff. To do baneful magic. With all these things you can do positive and negative magics with it. I've used dirt from the bottom of a river before. I did that for, I've done that for prosperity work and also for love work before. And that is really, it brings really fast results, I noticed. Like it picked up on the energy of the flowing river into that. You can use the dirt from a funeral home for really dark magic and baneful magic. Funeral homes are like a nexus of death energy because so many, you know, corpses pass through there. And not only that, but also all the energy of the grief and that emotional energy of the people who come there. there's a lot released at funeral homes. I'll say it like that. A lot of emotional energy is released there. And it's usually negative. Like grief and mourning and devastation. And you can use that energy that soaks into the dirt and use that for some dark works. Now, another thing that goes along with this is actually also burying your spells. You can bury your spells at these different locations for the different energies that are there. So whether if you're taking dirt from the property there and using that in your spell, or if you're doing a spell at your wherever your altar is or whatever, and then you take that and bury it at the location, it could work either way. I do think it is stronger if you take the working and actually just bury it at the location. You know, do this at your own risk though, and use your own intelligence and discernment. Like, you don't want to just be digging a hole at the bank in the middle of the night or something. It's like, you know, what I have done though before is I've taken a rock. A lot of banks have their little landscaping things where they have like a garden and like rocky things. What I have done is I've taken rocks from there, brought it back home, done workings with it, drawn sigils on it, and then I've taken that rock back and just like threw it back into that area where the rocks are, or near a plant or a shrub or whatever, where it's like underneath it by the roots and stuff like that. So that's just some things to consider. You can do similar things with other locations like hospitals for healing, funeral homes for baneful magic, cemeteries, etc. I have also done work where I used the dirt from a house that a client wanted to secure and purchase for themselves. I've used the dirt and gravel from the driveway for that type of working. You could use the dirt from your own home in a protection work. And then once you're done with the spell work, you can scatter the dirt back into your yard or in around the perimeter of your home. You can use the dirt from gardens for abundant spells, creativity spells, fertility spells. I mean, really, there's just a lot that you can do with dirt. And to me, like I said, it just really feels like it brings a very strong earth energy into the magic. And I feel like it's different from using a crystal or a rock when you're talking about earth energies. When you're using a rock or just a stone, it feels much more ancient and kind of dormant in a way, or stagnant. And, well, at least to me. Like I said, this is just from my experience. But when I use dirt, it feels like there is life in it. Which I guess makes sense now that I analyze it, because, you know, dirt and soil is nurturing to things that grow in it. So when I use the dirt, I feel that energy very strongly, that it's like the earth element, but it's like a very active, alive form of the earth element, which to me is unique to other different items that you would use for the earth element, like stones or salt or something like that. The dirt is like it's imbued with a life force, or a much more stronger and active, more nurturing life force compared to other things from the earth element that you can use. And so I like using it. I use it quite a bit. I'm an air sign, so the earth element is like the polar opposite of the air sign, and it's always been probably the most hardest element for me to connect with because of that reason. But when it comes to dirt, I feel that there's more of a airy quality to it because it's really active, and there's a lot of energetic movement going on with it. Sometimes when I'm doing spells with dirt and I'm just like staring at it, it's like I can see this like micro pixels moving all throughout the dirt. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like I can just see it alive energetically, and there's a lot of movement going on with it. So it's really, I think it's a really nice ingredient to include into your magics. It really brings a lot of energy to it. So just one more thing I'll include in this video. This is kind of just glossing over this topic. I could go much more into depth, like on how to do spells with dirt, but I'd rather do that as like individual videos. So let me know if you would like me to do that, how I use it in some future videos. Just comment that below. But anytime that I take from nature, I give an offering back. So if I was gathering dirt from somewhere, I would leave an offering there in exchange for it. So I just want to include that in this video. Make sure that you do that because you don't want to anger or offend any local spirits to the land that you're taking the dirt from. Now, this topic doesn't really only apply to dirt. You can use anything from these different locations and for the energies there. But you know, like you can use leaves from a tree. You can pick flowers from the place, like from the bank. You can take leaves off their bushes, or take a stone like I suggested earlier, or etc. And with all the different locations, the same thing. And there's a lot of different things that you can use as far as locations too, besides the ones that I mentioned. But you know, like a church, you can use that for more spiritual things and purposes. But this is just a short kind of, like I said, glossing over the subject. I hope that it gives you some insight, or at least gets you thinking on some different ways that you can incorporate dirt into your magic. But once again, if you want to see like instructional videos of how I use it in specific spells, go ahead and comment that below, and I will add that to the list of videos that I need to make for you guys. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also just let me know if you have any other topics you want me to cover. Okay? Hail to the witches and blessed be.